Anderson,
Here.
Commissioner Lee, Commissioner Morgan,
Here.
Commissioner Jackson, Commissioner Chambers.
Here. It's going to be a quiet meeting.
Thank you. At this time, item on the agenda, we'll do the invocation led by Commissioner Trent North, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, Commissioner Vicki Anderson.
Please join me as we go to the throne. Most merciful and all-wise Father, we come at this event just to give you the honor, the praise, and the glory. As always, Father, we thank you for the men and women that are up here. It is our prayer that they see you and not us in the decisions that we make and the actions that we employ. Father, as always, thank you for the men and women who continue to fight for democracy abroad as well as at home. And Father, we say a special prayer for one of our own, Tommy Lee and Ann Lee, who celebrated the homegoing services for his father. Keep the entire family in your prayers. Be the strength when they need it. Be the guidance when they need it. These prayers we ask in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
Will you stand, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time, thank you both commissioners. At this time, item 5, approval of the agenda for tonight's meeting. We'll look for a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? All those opposed? Thank you. Item 6, as you had in front of you, the board you got over a week ago, is approval of the minutes from January 5th, 2016. Look for a motion to
Make a
pass.
motion
Second.
to approve.
Motion and second. Any discussion? And seeing none. All those in favor? All those opposed? At this time, we'll reach the public comment section. There was a sign-up sheet in the back, or we'll ask anybody that may have missed a sheet. It's the time to be able to approach the commission. Anybody, we will not respond. We'll assign somebody to you if it needs researching or something, but due to time, we will limit it to about 3 minutes. We'll call on Mr. Richard Mix.
Thank you, Commissioners, for giving me this time to introduce myself. I have the privilege of knowing many people in this room. My name is Richard Mix. I'm from Noonan, formerly of Carroll County. I lived here for 10 years, moved to Noonan about 4.5 years ago, and I have decided to run for District 3, the 3rd District U.S. Congress seat that's being vacated by Lynn Westmoreland. I'm not a politician. I am a father. I am a businessman, and I am a concerned citizen who has become disenfranchised a little bit with the direction of this country. So rather than ranting and raving all the time, I decided to step up to the plate and put my money where my mouth is. So I've got a long, challenging effort here coming up in front of me. It's going to be a highly contested race. I would not enter if I didn't think I had a legitimate chance to win, and I wouldn't enter if I didn't think I could bring legitimate reasons and opportunities to the table. So I have pledged accessibility. I'll be here after the meeting. I've got some cards and stuff I've given them to many of you. It's got my cell phone number on there. And I just want to take the opportunity to introduce myself, and to those of you that don't know me, say hello to those that do. And thank you for your support, your input. It's going to take an army to do this, and I look forward to the challenge. So I thank you for your time. And then finally, I just want to express my condolences to Tommy, who I know, whose father passed away. So I just wanted to make a statement about that. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. There was no one else signed up. This is not for zoning. Anyone else here for public comments? And seeing none, we'll move on to the agenda. Next item is item number 8, financial session. We'll go 8.1. We'll ask for a financial recap from Don Johnson, Controller.
Yes, Chairman and Board of Commissioners, you have your November 2015 financial recap. Our total revenues at the end of November were $20,032,000. $2,804, which represents 40.3% of our total revenues. Our total internal fund transfers were $539,431, which represents about 24.4% of the budget. Then total expenditures were $19,103,783, which represents 38.4% of our total budgets. And our internal fund expenses were $698,467. Our monthly health insurance budget was $3,194,566. We have expended $3,419,294, which gives us a negative of $224,728. And our total cash reserves at the end of November were $10,042,906. Also, you have in front of you December's report. It just didn't get in. You will see that the health insurance is much better because we had a lot of study on that report, and that I will be given next month. I gave you that. So if there's any questions during the month, I'll take anything about it.
Thank you.
Any questions for Don?
No, sir.
Thank you, Board. Moving on in financial session, item 8.2, revenue anticipation certificates. We're going to call on Ms. Stacy Blackman from Ty Singer.
I'll have Stacy come on up, but you have in front of you the resolution for the Board of Commissioners, and attached to that as an exhibit is the second supplemental intergovernmental contract. This is for the refinance of the old Tanner bonds, and I'll let Stacy tell you if you need your cheat sheet. I'll put it right over there about the savings amounts that they were able to gain by refinancing this. But by approving the resolution, you were giving the chairman the authority to execute all the necessary documents and finish and close it out.
Thank you. Oh, great. If you don't mind, we have Gabe Aiken with Raymond James who can tell us about the numbers and the savings that we
And I
realized.
apologize, Gail, I should have asked you to come as well. Thank you for,
I'll give you a very, very brief recap
Sure.
here on the
Thank you.
bond issue. And I know you're highly familiar with this, along with your staff, because you guys have put a lot of work here the last few weeks trying to get us in position to sell these bonds today. We really fast-tracked this one to take advantage of this market, with all the folks that are getting out of stocks and overseas concerns with the economy and oil being low. A lot of folks have been exiting the stock market and getting into really safe, high-rated investments. Carroll County's bond ratings are very high, AA2 by Moody's and AA by S&P, so a lot of investors really move to these to get a very conservative, safe investment. And just to talk a little bit about, we did go to market. We sold the bonds today. This is not new debt. This is just simply to lower the payment obligation of Tanner Medical Center, and ultimately the county backs it if they did not pay. Tanner's in very strong financial condition, so that's highly unlikely. But the existing 2008 certificates is what we're refinancing. The interest rate on that is approximately 4.8% on that. We're going to reduce it down to 3.08% as an all-inclusive cost to borrow here. So the total savings, and after all the cost of doing this, is going to be about $3.9 million over the life of this. So that's going to be money that they're going to have to reinvest in healthcare in your community here. And we always look at that on a present value basis because this is basically out to 2038, so over 22 years on this. It's a long-term finance, and so if you bring that to today's dollars, it's about $2.847 million in net present value savings. So very, very successful marketing. Investors love the credit strength of both the county and the hospital. There's two revenue sources pledged, so it really helped us get a very, very low interest rate and incredibly successful marketing today. So just again, just appreciate hard work of your staff of getting us in position to sell these bonds today. And Stacy will cover or actually, you want to cover the legal documents going to be covered? Okay. Okay. I'll turn the legal part over to them.
Gabe, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, and on behalf of Lloyd Howard, he really wanted to thank you all for your cooperation. We couldn't do this without you working so quickly to make this happen, but you have before you a resolution just to approve the supplemental intergovernmental contract and the anticipation certificate and just the purchase of the bonds. So just to supplement what we did last year. Do you have any questions?
As an employee, recluse be okay, or for Vicky?
As a Tanner employee.
1, 2, 3. We've got,
I need to recuse on this. We got four.
yeah, yeah, to officiate. That's fine. Vicky Anderson will recluse by being an employee. With that, we'll look for a motion from the board.
Okay, I'll make the motion to approve.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Gabe, thanks for taking the time to come as well. Appreciate it. Next item on agenda 8.3 is the Health Department facility. We'll call on Gerald Pilgrim. We went over this in the work session. Just a quick update on where we are, Gerald.
Everybody's trying to, firming up the commitments, kind of went over this. We've got the money secured. We're still waiting to get a few little things from the WIC department, and then they're going to talk to them about entering into an agreement to assure that their monies are going to be coming. I think they're going to be giving about $630,000 that'll come out of the WIC program, federal government for that, and then the other coming from the district. So I think all that will be, and everybody understands that there's going to be some required agreements to secure the money before we can actually execute the contract. The architect and the general contractor hope to have that to us next week, then for the the county attorney to review, and they know, upgrade and put her language in there. But she's pretty used to the AIA document, so she knows what she doesn't like about it. So
The construction contract company is who?
it's Torrance Construction out
Gotcha,
of
that's what I
LaGrange. They're actually the firm that's building the new college and technology building.
College and career.
College and Career Academy in Villa Rica for the Carroll County Schools.
Mr. Chairman, if there are no questions, I think that this project is an excellent example of our partnership with DFACS and the Board of Commissioners. Brenda Fitzgerald has done an excellent job. We've been working on this for 2 to 3 years, trying to get resources from the state to make it become a reality. I want to thank Gerald for his role in this, and the board, and the chairman as well. Despite what people may think, Governor Deal has been very good to Carroll County. And this is another good example of how Carroll County is benefiting from his connection with Governor Deal. His appointment of Dr. Brenda Fitzgerald to her position has afforded us to make this become a reality. So I commend Brenda, commend you, commend the governor and the board. And with that, I make a motion to approve the Torrance construction bid of $1.923 million for renovation and expansion of the Health Department building, contingent upon the Georgia Department of Community Health, WIC, and District 4 Health Services contribution of approximately $1.179 million to the project, and authorizing the chairman to negotiate and execute agreements, contracts, and other documents necessary to make the completion of this project a success, so the citizens of Carroll County can benefit from a modern and more improved facility.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion? And seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? Thank you, Gerald.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, we'll be moving into item number 9.1 into the business session. We're going to call on Ben Skipper and Cynthia Daly for property maintenance code update.
Chairman and Commissioners, as we indicated at the work session, this has been a fruit of labor for Mr. Skipper and I for several months. You've had a number of citizens that have come before you with issues that the Community Development Department and codes did not have tools in their toolbox to be able to address. And so what we have done is we've taken the International Maintenance Code and we have amended that to fit Carroll County and to fit the suggestions that came from the board. It has been through the Department of Community Affairs at the state and has been approved with the amendments, and we would ask for y'all to approve it so that the codes department will have the tools that they need in order to help the citizens of Carroll County.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion from the board? Seeing none. All those in favor? All those opposed? Thank you. Next item under the business session is item 9.2, appointment Carroll County Board of Family and Children's Services. Commissioner Trent North.
I'm going to yield to the commissioner from, you said what? Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we appoint Vincent Deutsch to serve on this board. He will be replacing Linda Holly.
I'm going to second and add to that, the DFACS board now has a set of 9 different qualifications. So when choosing someone, they have to fall in one of those areas. And he would fall under the ministerial category.
And just one clarification, if okay, Michelle. They've always had them, they're just enforcing them now. We've had a little bit of flexibility with it, and so now, as Michelle is saying, they're checking to make sure that our appointment that it
Meets the
fits or meets
qualifications.
one of those qualifications. So thank you, Michelle.
So we have a motion, Trent North, and a second from Commissioner Morgan. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? All those opposed? Thank you. Next under the business session is item 9.3, an appointment Carroll County Water Authority Board. This is from a district appointment from Commissioner Anderson.
From the Great District 2, I would like to reappoint Trey Wiley to Carroll County Water Authority for another term.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? All those opposed? Thank you, Commissioner Anderson. Next item, item 9.4, broker services, group health insurance. We do not have to vote on this, but as a review and just to go on record, we're going to get an update from broker services from Northwest, Mr. Jason Brady.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and the rest of the commissioners. My name is Jason Brady, and I'm a partner with Northwestern Benefit out of Atlanta. I'm actually a former Carroll County resident as well. Now I live in Fulton, but just want to make a comment that we very much appreciate the opportunity to continue our partnership with Carroll County. I think through the process that you guys have just undertaken, we've all learned a lot. It's created a tremendous amount of alignment between the commission, the Carroll County employee base, as well as ourselves in service to you. We have committed very strongly to regular communication. We want to create a very smooth timeline on your upcoming renewal, as well as create a 3 to 5 year vision plan on where we want to go with the county. So we appreciate it, and I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Absolutely. I just want to go on record, Jason, thank you for following through the RFP. We're not going to have a vote on this. They are our current broker. We'll appreciate y'all staying. Go on record that we are going to be in alignment better than we have. It's starting as a new client employee relationship here, and appreciate what y'all have done. I think we're going to go have monthly reports, kind of where we stand, what's going on, a new commitment from HR that we're going to use services and make sure we're in line with the total of what your company offers, and we appreciate that.
We're excited about it, so appreciate it.
Any questions? If not, Jason, thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
Absolutely. Next, we'll move into the zoning sessions. We're going to call on Artegas Newell, zoning administrator, to come forth
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Just a few quick notes of business. Item number 1011 has been tabled until the March 1st meeting for Mr. Christner, so that item will not be discussed this evening. Also, Mr. Chairman, my applicant for 10-4, Mr. Latimer, is running a little late. I texted JJ a little while ago. He is on his way.
We can just move him if needed.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you just call him as, which one had been removed?
That is 1011, or 10-2, excuse me.
Yeah, okay,
Yes, sir.
correct.
Just very briefly, Mr. Chairman, the items for consideration, number one, whether the zoning proposal will permit a use that is suitable in view of the use and development of adjacent and nearby property, whether the zoning proposal will adversely affect the existing use or usability of adjacent or nearby property, whether the property to be affected by the zoning proposal has a reasonable economic use as currently zoned, whether the zoning proposal will result in a use which will or could cause an excessive or burdensome use of existing streets, transportation facilities, utilities, or schools, whether the zoning proposal is in conformity with the policy and intent of the land use plan, and whether there are other existing or changing conditions affecting the use and development of the property which give supporting grounds for either approval or disapproval of the zoning proposal. With that, Mr. Chairman, the first item we have is consideration of Jimmy Dean Baggett's and Norma Jean Painter's request for a variance and conditional use permit to divide a 7-acre tract into two parcels at 548 Barge, Tallapoosa Road, Waco. Mr. Chairman, this request has a unanimous recommendation of approval from the Planning Commission.
Okay, thank you. We'll call the applicant forward, and then while doing that, we'll call conduct the zoning of the hearings. The applicant or proponent of the zoning application shall be allowed 10 minutes to present the data. Those opposed will have the same 10 minutes. If needed, rebuttal will have 5 minutes per side. Thank you.
Yes, sir. This is my, what I inherited. My father passed away in April, and my brothers and sisters, I've been living there. My father and I lived on the property. I've been living there all my life, and the only change will be that I'll own the 2 acres instead of, that's the only change that'll be made. And I couldn't get 4 acres like so I 2's all that my brothers and sisters would agree to. So I want to try to get a title, a deed for that 2 acres.
Okay. Anyone else here representing this for the proposal?
No, I don't think. I think we're the only ones here.
Okay, I'll ask at this time, is there anyone here opposed to this request? Anybody representing opposition to this request? And seeing none, I'll look for a motion from the board.
Motion approved. Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed?
Tell your brothers and sister that the commissioner from District 5 said that they should give you 4 acres because you deserve it. Okay? The commissioner from District 5, you be sure you tell them that.
Thank you very much. All right, 10-2. All right, Artagas.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. The next item we have is consideration of Ag South Farm Credits request to amend the zoning ordinance and map from agriculture to commercial zoning at 41 Shattinger Road, also known as 2520 Highway 27 South, Carrollton. Mr. Chairman, this request has a staff recommendation of approval. It also has a unanimous recommendation of approval from the Planning Commission. Also, one other note of business on this particular item, we had this property zoned as commercial on previous zoning maps for many years. Subsequently, there was an inadvertent change to agriculture on this property. It has operated as commercial for many years. You all may remember there was a photography studio at this property, so it's also a zoning correction. Just as another matter of note, with that being the case, we did not charge the applicant because it was something that the county needed to get corrected as well.
So we're doing the correction as well?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Is the applicant
Yes, sir.
here?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name's Thomas James. I'm here representing Ag South. I work for Ag South. We started this process probably back in October, beginning the search for a new facility. If you're not familiar where we're located now, we're on 27 South next to Billy Bob's. That's usually the way I refer and give direction, and everybody knows it. We started off looking at lots to purchase, going to do new construction, but have elected to go the course of using existing facilities. This building is a commercial facility. It's wired commercial sprinkler systems. As Mr. Newell stated, it was commercially zoned and switched back to ag. We just believe this is a direction that we as an association want to take it as far as using existing facilities versus purchasing new properties and new structures. That's about all I got.
We'll ask at this time, is there anyone in opposition for this request and correction? Second request, anyone here in opposition of this request? Seeing none, we'll look for a motion from the board or any questions.
I'll make a motion to zone it commercial.
Second.
And no further questions. All those in favor? All those opposed? Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, the next item we have is a request from JJ and Kim Latimer to amend the zoning ordinance and map from agriculture to R3 residential for a 2.8 acre tract at 459 Sand Hill Shady Grove Road. Mr. Chairman, this request has a recommendation of approval from the Planning Commission and also has a recommendation of approval from the staff.
This property's in a fine district.
Council, please excuse my appearance. I have a tract of 2.8 acres. I'm asking to zone to R2 to divide the property directly in half to 1.4 each is my request.
Okay.
R2 or R3?
The original request, ma'am, was for R3. Mr. Latimer originally wanted to divide the 2.8 acre parcel into 4 parcels. There are five existing houses that have been there for many years on the parcel, but they're all on one parcel. And I've known JJ for a long time, so forgive me for just referring to him as JJ, but what he wanted to do was divide those houses. One is pretty dilapidated. It was going to just remove that one and rebuild, so we were going to have 4 total houses, each on approximately half acre to about 0.7 acres each. I believe at the Planning Commission, JJ's decided to reduce that to only divide that lot into 2 lots, which would be 1.4 acres apiece, which would then qualify for R2 zoning, which is a 1 acre minimum, so the density would be greatly decreased.
Our paper just said R3.
Yes, ma'am. We had advertised as R3, so we kept that along, and we wanted to keep
amend it
to yes, sir, and then let the board, if you all were so inclined, to decrease the density that was requested. Yes, ma'am. Did I get that right? Did you? Okay.
Any other proponents here? If not, I'll ask again, is there anyone in opposition of this request? We'll state it twice. Any opposition of this item's request? Seeing none, we'll ask a motion from the board.
Make a motion that we approve the zoning to an R2 and not an R3 as advertised.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? Thank you, JJ.
Mr. Chairman, the last item that the staff has is consideration of Vanessa Whitman's request for a conditional use permit for a slaughterhouse and meat processing facility on 63.47 acres, more or less at 2135 High Point Road, Bowden. Mr. Chairman, this request has a unanimous recommendation of approval from the Planning Commission.
Good evening. Until September this year, our family was dairy farmers. And in September, they cut our milk prices in half. And we were forced to sell the cows and looking for other means of revenue. Have a fairly new facility that we're wanting to convert into a meat processing plant, which I've been expressed to day in and day out the need for in our area. I guess that's all I got.
Anyone else here in favor of this who'd like to speak? Seeing none, we'll ask, is there any opposition to item 10.5? Second request, any opposition to this request? And seeing none going on record, we'll look for a motion from the board.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussions or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed?
Thank you very
sir.
much.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion second. All those in favor? All those opposed? Thank you very much.